Welcome, beautiful friends! You know what song's coming through? I'm like, you're back from outer space. Hello, friends.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Before we go anywhere, let's just all tune in. Surely at this point, you don't need me to teach you or lead you how to get there. But just move into that inner space, that vast, spacious presence that knows no limits, and allow yourself to experience this group joined here together tonight, and also those who will listen to or watch this sometime in what seems like the future. So just let yourself become aware of whatever that is in your inner awareness. Knowing that whether you're getting a feeling state or images or words, whatever you're receiving is perfect for you. Let go of an idea that it's supposed to be something else and just let yourself experience your unique experience. As we come together again after a late summer hiatus. Like an old group of friends entering a room together and taking a few moments to hug and embrace and reconnect in the way that friends and lovers greet each other. And just allow yourself, if you're willing, to feel a moment of gratitude for the mystery of our very existence. Not a one of us knows how we exist, but we're certainly clear that we do. It's really, really, really nice to see and feel you all again. It feels like it's been a really long time, but yet very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you get when we were tuning in?
A couple things. The first thing was like at Thanksgiving, maybe, when family is gathered and there's the greetings at the front door as yet another dear one opens the door and steps into the home. And the other thing that I heard, the words in my mind were, dearly beloveds, we are gathered here today to unite in holy union. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's sexy.
It sure was.
So I'm going to start with a little bit of a confession and some, just a little, what have Cindy and I been up to? So in October, Cindy and I were up in Boone, North Carolina for a Course in Miracles event that included a lot of like 5 or 6 other quote kind of teachers. And for 6 months leading up to this event, I didn't want to do it. I was like telling Cindy, let's just cancel. Let's not go. Screw it. Let's not do it at all. I now understand what that was. Probably 2.5 years ago, I got some very specific guidance, and the guidance was, you don't need to teach anymore, you just need to be. And when you understand this, you will have arrived. So I had no idea what that meant at the time. And of course, I was already in the groove of teaching, and I think I was pretty good at it. It seemed to have great efficacy for those who resonated with the way in which I teach. If not, it repelled them, and they went and found some other person to hang out with or something. Yeah, somebody who doesn't burp. Yeah, gratefully we don't fart. So in Boone, I shared this same confession with that group. And what came after that, knowing that that would be my last kind of public teaching thing, was probably one of the most powerful nights that I had ever shared, because I don't know, I was letting it all hang out. There were a lot of F-bombs dropped. I think half the room was appalled and half the room was, inspired and had been touched in something deeper, because we did a spacious presence thing with them.
I'm laughing at Carmen up there.
Yeah, Carmen was there. She can tell you. Yeah. But what I would like to share with you was what happened a few days later. Lorraine's on the call, and she had gotten, she and I were chatting about something, and she got a knock on her consciousness from her beautiful guide, Stephen, and had suggested that it would be a good opportunity for Cindy and I to enter into a cocoon space, a time of no technology, no real connection with outside world, kind of breaking habits. Well, that cocoon period started the day after this last teaching gig in Boone. And lasted 11 or 12 days. We got this magnificent campsite on a lake in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was absolutely gorgeous. But what happened over those next few days, as I began to realize the shift that my own consciousness had gone through when I had released this role or meaning or purpose or function of teaching, was really quite profound. I had no idea how much of my consciousness was wrapped up in teaching. So, for instance, give you an example, whenever I would have a revelation or an inner vision or an inner communion, an aspect of my consciousness was, of my human consciousness, was operating kind of on the sidelines, constantly trying to take that revelation and interpret it in ways that could be shared with others. By trying to translate it into, obviously, words, symbols, analogies, examples, and then would kind of run through potential ways of sharing it such that it might be effective to point someone else towards the direction of their own experience of that revelation. And before that, I hadn't seen how much of my consciousness was allocated to that kind of teaching, translating role. And the image I was shown, it was like I was straddling a fence. I had one foot in the kingdom, one foot on earth, and I was trying to bridge both of those states. And while that was very effective during the time that I was asked to teach and share, it was holding me back because I was, to use Yeshua's language, I was trying to serve two masters. So when I let go of that last night in Boone, it's like the fence disappeared, and all of that consciousness that had been oriented towards teaching or helping or instructing or guiding or whatever, began to dissolve, began to let go, began to migrate, maybe that's the word, translate, I don't know, towards the kingdom side of what had been this previous fence. So what I discovered was this great duality in my own consciousness, all under the banner of being helpful, and being a teacher, which was an appropriate stage of my pathway. And many of you, like Rivka's going through that. I know several others of you feel an inner calling to you. So I'm not trying to suggest that that's not where you should be. Where you should be is where you are. I'm just sharing my journey of that portion of my pathway is complete. I was shown really clearly that what I had delivered in BBiP was I don't know what you might call my seminal work, my real last thing to take people to the doorway, or maybe the fence, if you will, that leads them beyond the symbols of the world and their human consciousness to connect directly with their own inner wisdom, their own spacious presence, their own spirit, whatever you will, and let that be their only guide towards their further awakening and their integration. I have this, during that incubation period, we totally got off Facebook, and I haven't been back on since, other than to really post in this, that this was coming. And I'm so glad to be free of that. I had no idea how much, again, I was holding on to quote things of the world. What would you like to share? I just went blank.
Oh, well, I was going to share that a parallel came to mind as you were talking, and it was like
a wedgie, like a wedgie parallel.
No. So imagine that you are a food writer, and you go to a fine restaurant to have dinner, and as you're tasting your salad, your entree, your dessert, a part of your consciousness is engaged in how you are going to write that review. And that part of your consciousness is not fully in the experience. And I think that's what we're talking about now, is that being fully present in the experience that you are engaged in this moment. And if you watch your mind, if you pay attention, you will often see that there's this translation that is going on, because after all, that's what the mind does. It translates our experience and puts it into reference points that we have previously established. And to be able to step outside of, what am I going to do with this experience? How am I going to communicate it? How am I going to store it within mind? What meaning will I give this experience, and how will it influence my life? Being able to let all of that go and simply be the vessel through which the experience moves. It's a different way of being within the world. And it's rich and it's beautiful, and you're invited in.
So any kind of worldly teachings, whether they're any of the Christ pathways or anything else, it's like my whole being has an aversion to. It's like I can't engage in something that came through someone else, through symbols and blah, blah, blah. It's just like everything in the world now is turning me back towards my own unique connection, and the way the spirit can connect directly with me, still sometimes in symbols, but transcendent of those, in that direct gnosis that we, did so much time during BBiP learning how to connect to and engage. So I don't know. I sense in my being that there's several, that what I've shared here, several of you out there might be resonating with on some level. Having to come to trust that inner teacher, and that inner teacher, what we've called the Holy Spirit, it's our experience. It's not our interpretations. It's not our beliefs. It's not our anything else. It's our lived experience is telling us what we're creating. And it doesn't matter what words we attach to it, what beliefs we think are the source of it. It's utterly so much simpler. The experience, when experienced fully, is all the wisdom that you ever would need in any moment, because that experience is wisdom. It is telling us, it is showing us, it is informing us. So I'm on my own journey, and Cindy dancing along with me. What I hear in my mind is how to be in the world but not of it, having let go of some of that, be helpful. I saw this huge boulder I had in my consciousness that it was my duty to do it. Like I saw this big thing that I had perceived that I had promised Yeshua that I would come back this time again and do this work for the umpteenth time. But that wasn't actually what I promised him. When I got through my creation of all that, what I promised him was that I would come into human consciousness and be utterly free. Utterly free. Not to serve, not to teach, not to fulfill a duty or a purpose or a mission, but simply to be utterly free. And I had no idea how many of my good intentions were binding me from this greater freedom. So that's my confession. That's kind of where we are. So I don't know how much it's possible for Cindy and I's life to get simpler, but it still seems to be happening. And this wasn't all, like roses and candy.
No.
There were thorns. There were periods of utter boredom. There were periods of bewildering confusion in the mind as this underlying current of how the mind had been oriented and what was directing it and what it thought its purpose and function were being dissipated. There were times where it really was pretty fucking uncomfortable. But that presence, that knowing just kept calling. It's like a magnet, just like pulling from within deeper and deeper and deeper. I thought I knew what something about silence and presence before. I don't think I'd touched the tip of the iceberg, but that too has gone much, much deeper. I'll share one more thing and then maybe we'll move on. But I also was shown how human memory, because memory isn't, all memory is what Yeshua would call illusion, because an experience happens, but the memory is never the experience. I mean, when you go back to a memory, you have pictures and images and thoughts and interpretations and beliefs and value assessments, but it's never actually the experience again. The experience is already gone. So we live with this filter of memory, and what that filter of memory does is actually distort us from fully experiencing our present experience. It's part of the function of how the mind uses memory to create time, whether it's past or future, so that we don't fully experience this moment and the gnosis, the mystery that is revealing itself to us in every moment. So Cindy and I have both been experiencing what we would call profound memory loss. And I mean, it's really, really weird. I had been going through that for quite some time before, and we were relying on Cindy to know what day of the week it was. And now we had to buy an Amazon Echo so we can ask, what day of the week is it, because we can't remember anymore, because on board in our consciousness, the uselessness of memory has been recognized. So it's like the consciousness isn't even trying to catalog memory anymore, because it's not of any value. It just serves to, that's just one more piece of your consciousness doing all that memory making and Dewey Decimal System of holding all that memory. So if any of the rest of you are experiencing this kind of thing, don't be frightened about it. We're getting back to that, be like a little child who doesn't have memory yet, who doesn't collect memory and evaluate all their present experiences through their past memories and what they should or shouldn't be. So that's our confession and kind of what's been up with us. So I want to be really clear. We're not your teachers. We're your friends. We're on a journey no different than yours. And if there's anything we have to offer, it's the authenticity with which we explore and discover our own inner realm or mansion or whatever. So anything else you got there, babe?
I would just add that during that downtime of communication,
it was a bit of dying.
It was a dying, yes. My own experience of it was, as John Mark mentioned, the boredom, but there was also a large part of discomfort, because in that process and the really looking, what I saw was perpetual assumptions of limitation. And I recognized that within me was this hope, this desire for something grand, something transcendent. I couldn't really describe what that was, but it was some kind of feeling state that I thought was outside of me, and that it would be achieved either through some effort on my part or for some grace of God. And I saw within myself that I didn't want to work at it. I didn't want to get my, daily messages from the Way of Mastery or daily quotes from Yeshua or any of those stuff that had felt like they'd been a rudder in my daily living. And there was a turning away from all of that. And in the turning away, there was a recognition that I had used those things in an attempt to achieve some state that I was still putting outside of myself. And so what came was discomfort, some self-judgment, anger, projection. All of those things arose. And then the wave would dissipate and I'd move into boredom. And then the boredom would be so fucking uncomfortable that I'd take another look at that thing that I didn't really want to see. And then it was, oh, here comes another wave. And there was a recognition that I was doing it to myself. This whole, whatever this thing I had in my mind, this transcendent state that I was holding outside of myself, was all made up. And that it was available to me in this present moment. And all I had to do was to let go. Let go of every way in which I had claimed limitation. And I could see the simplicity of that. Instead of holding so tightly to this thing outside, I could just open my hand gently, and all of it, like water, would run through my fingers and be gone. And so I'm still in that process of holding my hand open and observing what more water is there to fall. And I have no real answer to that. How long will that water fall? How long will I continue to claim some form of limitation? So all I can do at this stage is to be in my experience, see the beauty and grace in it, and just hold my hand open. And all is well. So.
Okay, so there's our confession. That's what we've been up to these last 6 months when we said, oh, we'll take July off and maybe August. And I don't know, what's today, November 7th? We're back. But we're carrying a whole lot less than we had the last time we saw you.
Yeah.
So I just want to honor and celebrate your journeys, and wherever you're at, I absolutely know that the doorway that we've all entered together in this, that we all have the ability to cultivate on a moment's notice whenever we choose, this access to our, spacious presence or our spacious self or our eternal self, whatever words work for you, use them. It's more powerful than we can ever imagine. And it's incredibly subtle, and it's a little deceptive that you might think, well, nothing's happening. Why isn't something happening? Or why is this or that happening? But abiding in that presence is really transfigurative in a way that is, I don't know, mysterious.
Yes.
But it's certainly worth the journey. So I'd like to also share, Cindy shared a little bit, when I tuned in earlier, Yeshua appeared in my inner awareness and asked me to collect you all and bring you with me as we go on an inner journey to join with him, and then we'll kind of see what happens. So Rose has got her hand up.
Are you recording?
I can't hear you, Rose.
Are you recording?
Type it in. We can't hear you.
The recording button is on.
Oh.
Yes, we are recording.
We're concerned about that, but we screwed up before.
Yeah, they have reason to worry. we're driving. Now, you guys don't know. I mean, like an hour before Cindy and I did this, I was getting the equipment back out like, oh gosh, how do I do this? I don't remember how to do it, but it's all come together. All right, so if you'll just take a really deep breath and relax, give your body permission to be fully received by the chair or the bed or whatever is presently supporting your body. Let your body be fully received by that, whatever it is, so that the body needs to take no care for its well-being. It can simply and utterly and completely relax. Hi, Linda. And without really doing anything, just recognize that your light, which is the field of your awareness, without any effort, can be aware of what is right now for you. And just let yourself become aware that you don't have to do anything to create awareness. You don't even have to remember to be aware. In some way, we're always aware. So if you haven't closed your physical eyes, please do so. And allow yourself to become aware of the vast presence that is inside your body. Not your physical body itself, but let your light, your awareness focus on the space, the pure potential that is within your body, that's not the body. Pure spirit. And let yourself recognize that that spirit and your body are one. They are coexisting right now in the space your body presently occupies. So your mind needs to do nothing here. The light that is directing my voice is the same universal light that will inform your own inner experience. All you need to do is allow yourself to experience your experience. So now, metaphorically, close your inner eye so that your field of awareness is pure blackness. No images, no symbols, no aspect of your consciousness is looking anywhere without or within. Many of us were taught to fear this darkness, this inner darkness. This inner darkness is the cloak of God. It's merely the unmanifest potential of creation. There's nothing frightening about it. And as we close our physical eyes, and then we close our inner eye related to our human consciousness, let your presence expand in that vast, perfectly peaceful inner blackness. No up, no down, no him, no her, no other, not even really a me, just a field of vast and infinite peace. Not an emptiness that is devoid of life, but is the unmanifest womb of life. And without any effort, in that field of unmanifest potential, know that there is just one field of this blackness. It's transcendent of our bodies, our personalities, our minds. Now let yourself become aware that in that field of blackness, you can move effortlessly. There is no resistance and no effort to move. Join me as you feel your being moving forward in that blackness to a single point of brilliant white light in the distance. No effort, and feel as you move through that blackness that you're aware that there's movement towards this brilliant point of light in the distance, and feel it growing closer and closer and closer. Feel how you effortlessly feel drawn towards this brilliant, shimmering light. That light is the shining one. Who incarnated on this world and took many names and many lifetimes. I affectionately know that one is Yeshua, but his being is infinitely transcendent of the incarnational bodies and personalities. And feel our group circle around that point of light. And even those who are joining and hearing this in the future, you too are present with us now. And as we circle this light, recognize that that light of the shining one, of Yeshua's being, is in direct communion with you and everyone else in the circle simultaneously. And feel that point of light reaching out to you as a point of blackness, not a body, not a mind, like spokes from the hub of a wheel reaching out to connect to each one of us as points of blackness, points of potential. And feel that light embrace you as blackness. And allow yourself to become aware of the perfect harmonious relationship between darkness and light, between nothing and everything. And let yourself be aware that each of us are utterly, equally embraced by that shining one, like spokes of a wheel. We are all absolutely equal. There is no darker aspect, there is no lighter aspect, there is no difference. Absolute and utter equality. As the shining one extends lines of light, spokes into the infinity of your blackness, into the infinity of your infinite potential being. And let yourself feel fully that embrace. There's nothing you're supposed to be experiencing except what you're experiencing. Without the field of blackness, light has nothing to shine within. Without the point of light and its infinite spokes reaching outward to infinity, the blackness has no way of knowing itself. Feel the harmony, the unity of darkness and light, potential and points of light in which creation may express and manifest. And now, without any effort, let yourself be not only that blackness, but the shining, shimmering light in the hub and every spoke that reaches out to infinity. Let yourself realize you are one self, the hub of all that is, the shimmering light of awareness at the center of everything, the vast infinite field of blackness, of nothing but potential. And feel yourself as the hub, the shining one that you are, reaching out into that vast infinity in every direction, seeking to explore that blackness, to bring light to every corner, and also be that blackness being joyfully in unity with that light. And recognize that you are both the shining one and the blackness, the emptiness, the hub, the spokes, and the infinite circumference, all within you. Take Yeshua down, not only off the cross, but as something other than you are, and let yourself feel this within yourself. Let this gnosis reveal to you this truth, that you too are that shining one, extending yourself in infinite points of light to explore the vast and infinite potential of your own blackness, your own emptiness. And as you feel this within your being, obviously it is equally true for all being. Each of us equally the shimmering, shining one in the hub, the spokes of light reaching out into infinity, and the blackness, the emptiness in which that light extends forever, effortlessly. The nothing and the all, the light and the dark, in utter dependency and peaceful harmony. So should you choose to join with the shining one again, to truly join with that being is to be that one yourself. The blackness, the darkness, the potential is free. The shining one, the spokes, reaching infinitely as points of light, is free. Freedom embracing freedom. The one self loving itself. Now, without any effort, allow that experience and that gnosis to suffuse your physical form. The body need not be separate. Let that truth be manifest in your body, in your physical form. The eternal and the temporary dancing in peaceful and perfect harmony. Are you willing and are you ready to embody all that is in your unique and perfect ways, in a way that only this spoke called your body can do, equal utterly to every other spoke, every other body, every other form. Great change is coming in the next 12 months. Epic change. The invitations from the world to be frightened and to be in fear will be louder and greater than ever before. You always remain free to jump on that train if you wish, or to embody this utter, perfect, peaceful harmony. All beings, all souls will be given the choice to continue separation or to return to a state of original wholeness. The choice is utterly and freely the choice of your conscious mind. To abide in this state we've all touched together, or to continue to seek for it in other ways. Our joining in this way is incredibly powerful. If you would be willing to dedicate just a few moments a day to do within your being what we've done today, to be the infinite potential and the single source of light that expresses itself infinitely, you will be the presence of peace. And our choice to do that together will be incredibly powerful. Because you can never do what we have done alone. When you do it for yourself, you do it with and for all beings. When you claim this freedom for yourself, you claim it for all beings. Please let it be simple. When you feel ready, you can let your eyes gently open while holding this vast blackness, this infinite center hub of light extending infinitely. And let your eyes fall gently, lovingly on one tiny potential that emerges from that harmony of darkness and light where you presently find your body. How was that for you, Bindi? Oh, I got a yes on that. Let's see if there's anything else for tonight.
I have an ending comment.
Well, feel free to make it.
Well, friends, I think we may be at or near the end of our session this evening. And this message to you has been running through my being for about a day. And that is to express my gratitude, my heart overflowing gratitude to all of you for having received my love. Because you have received it, I have found how much I have to give. And I am eternally grateful for your receiving so that I might know myself. Thank you.
That's beautiful, honey. Okay, I got a song. Can you unplug that so I can plug it into my phone? Anybody have any questions or comments you want to type in before we close here? Anyone want to share anything about your experience, or you might not even be able to? Is anyone typing? Okay. All right.
Come to talk with you again, because the visions of life left its seeds when I was away. And the vision that was planted in my brain stayed with me. Sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone.
Oh, John Mark, did you record? Yeah. I see it. I see the button. Oh!
Touch the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs. And voices never shared. No one died. Disturb the sound of silence. For fear you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take all your plans, all I need you. But my words, like silent raindrops fell. Echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowing to the young God they led. When the sign flashed out his warning, and the words that it was calling. The sign said the words of the prophets are regardless of where you are. Tenements fall, whisper
I don't know when we'll be back again, but it was great to be with you this time. Part of my journey deeper into all that is, I'm increasingly aware of my being's activities multidimensionally. And many of you may know I am close to each of you. I may come to mind, or you may feel my presence. I'm there to join with you as each chooses utterly freely for the sovereignty of your own being. And I will love and celebrate and support you throughout all of time and infinitely beyond. Ready? We love you with an infinite love.
And the perfect peace.
Play very, very well. Bye. Let's see if we can
See you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Okay. See ya.
Thank you.
Awesome. Love you both.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for the song, John Mark.
Welcome.
Beautiful song.
Oh, who sung that? It's a band called Disturbed. Pretty funny, isn't it? So I'll meet you guys on the wheel of life. Wheel of joy.
Ah,
As
no.
the center and circumference.
You're there.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, well, it'll end sometime.
Might just be the beginning.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe this is it. We can't ever end it.
Slowing down.
But it's got to end if I'm going to get the recording.
Press the button, damn it.
Maybe our party was.
Thank you guys.